Screams. Police. Sirens. No one truly understands what just happened. But I know one thing for sure. This was not an accident. A woman fell from Wedmeter Bridge. And I know exactly what really happened. Hey, Kella, listen, I'm sorry about last time. I don't even get to finish. I can't believe it. Oh God, did you hear? The voices around us multiply. People start running toward the bridge. The noise pulls me in, drags me straight into the chaos. It's a woman. Yes, a woman. So it's true. Really? No, I can't believe it. A woman fell from the bridge. The sound swells. The crowd moves like a single wave. When I hear those words, I stop thinking. Everything else disappears. I start running with them, without fully knowing what's happening. I was at Scotland Yard. I had come only to apologize to Kella. But in that moment, none of it matters anymore. Everyone is heading toward Wedmeter Bridge. It's only a few steps away, and I follow them. Running, I glanced back. I saw Kella right behind me. Total chaos. Voices, footsteps, shouts. No one really understood what was happening. Not me, not her. Luckily, Kella pulled out her badge. We forced our way through the crowd. But when we reached the railing, we saw nothing. Just bodies pressed together, all leaning over the edge, staring into the void. I stopped someone, asked what had happened. No answer. Everyone was talking. No one was explaining. Sirens were getting closer. The sound echoed between the buildings along the river. Sharp, metallic, relentless. Then I turned to a man leaning against the bridge. Tall, beard, dark glasses. He looked like the only one still thinking clearly. He said he had seen a woman fall. Quick, sudden. One moment she was there, the next, gone. I leaned over the railing too. Nothing, just water. The woman wasn't there. Gone. A chill ran through me. The Thames is a hostile river. Thick water. Dark. Heavy. Down there, the bottom is a maze of sediment. The current drags everything away in seconds. Even the strongest swimmers wouldn't stand a chance. And then I shouted, "Listen to me, everyone. I need the exact time she fell." A bystander yelled that it had happened just minutes ago. I pushed harder. I needed precision. Another voice answered, uncertain, "I think 5 minutes ago?" Damn it. In this cold, in the freezing waters of the Thames, a body has very little time. 5 minutes. Then strength gives out. When the rescue teams arrived, I ran toward them. But Kella grabbed my arm. "Blake," she said, "more than 5 minutes have passed. Just getting here took us at least 5, which means it's been much longer. And look at the weather. Strong currents, heavy water. It's too late." I grabbed her by the shoulders, stepping closer. "What are you saying, Kella? We can't just stand here." She looked straight into my eyes, placed her hands over mine. One step away from me, she whispered the truth I didn't want to hear. "This time, there's nothing we can do, Blake." In that instant, a scream cut through the sound of the river. "Riana! Riana, where are you? Riana!" Kella moved toward the man who was shouting. He was short, stocky, long beard, wearing a work jumpsuit. She tried to calm him down.
Who was Riana? Was she the woman who had fallen? The man broke down into a desperate cry. Fallen? No, no, no! Riana! He kept shouting. It's not her! It can't be her! She has to be here! She has to! I stepped closer. He said his name was Gianni, 40 years old. When I asked him who Riana was, his voice started to shake. She's my fiancée. I had a surprise planned. We were supposed to meet here, on Wedmeader Bridge. Right now. I placed a hand on his shoulder. Then I turned to the crowd and shouted, Everyone, listen to me! Is there anyone here named Riana?
No one answers. Maybe the woman who fell was Riana. A man steps closer to Gianni, asking if he knows her. Kella is just behind me. She leans in, her voice low, uncertain. What if it's... She doesn't finish. A voice cuts through the air, a woman right behind me. No, she fell by accident. I saw it, she says, breathless. I was next to her. I didn't have time to grab her. She just fell. I turn around. Her name is Catherine, 22 years old. She says she was standing beside the victim when it happened. She's certain it was a mistake. The woman leaned too far over the edge of the bridge. That detail hits me hard. Why lean that far? Why take that risk? Kella steps closer to me, her voice tight. I was thinking the same thing. What pushed her to do that? Why lean out that much? Behind us, Catherine raises her voice, struggling to hold on to the memory. She was trying to reach something. I'm sure of it. I look at Kella. We exchange a quick, tense glance. What could she possibly have been trying to touch? Catherine adds one last detail. A detail that freezes the air. She was leaning her torso over the railing, reaching one hand out into the void. Her hand stretched toward nothing. Strange. Very strange. I move closer to the rescue team, trying to understand what's really going on. That's when I notice it. My hands are greasy, slippery, shiny. I rub my fingers together. The substance is almost odorless, chemical, designed to go unnoticed. I wipe them on the edge of my coat, but the feeling lingers. I don't remember touching anything wet or oily. When did they get like this? What did I brush against? The rescuers tell me they're still searching, but it might already be too late. Behind me, I hear Gianni break into a desperate scream. Please! You have to save her! Kella, standing just behind me, murmured, How can he be so sure it was really his girlfriend? I answered without hesitation. Because she's not here, and he said they were supposed to meet today, that he had planned a surprise. It's natural for him to fear the worst. Kella shook her head. Wait, if it was a surprise, then she wasn't supposed to know he'd be here. But this feels like a planned meeting, not a surprise. I fell silent for a moment. She was right. Maybe the surprise was something else, I said finally. Maybe they were meeting anyway, and he wanted to give her a gift. Then, suddenly, a voice echoed from a distance. Kella! Kella! I exhaled slowly. I recognized it instantly. James, Kella's partner. I watched her hurry away toward him, already explaining what was happening. It always gets to me, seeing them together like that. I stay a step behind, as usual. Something doesn't sit right.
Why would she lean that far? Why stretch her arm into empty space? What was she trying to reach? I walk the length of the bridge. I try to understand. People start to leave. The crowd thins. Only a few of us remain. The supposed fiancé, Gianni. The woman, Catherine, who claims she saw everything. And a man in his 30s who introduces himself as Arlden. The more I listen, the clearer it becomes. All three of them knew the woman who fell, Riana. Gianni tells me about her. 32 years old, very tall, taller than him. Slim, short brown hair, deep dark eyes. The description matches Catherine's. Now we know for sure. The woman who fell was Riana. I turned toward Arlden. I was told you knew her, I said. Tell me who she was. He nodded. She was a colleague of his. They used to run into each other at the same hours.
She worked at the Banish of London, one of the city's most influential news organizations. I asked him why she was on the bridge. He sighed, said that after work she often passed through there. It was her place to clear her head. Then he added something that caught my attention. Before reaching the bridge, he had heard Riana talking to someone. She sounded emotional, happy, almost restless. Then she ran off. At the time, he didn't know she was the woman who had fallen, but when he heard the name, he moved closer. He wanted to understand, like all of us. In the end, I turned to the woman who had seen her up close. Did you know her? Not really, but I saw her on the subway before coming here, she said. I noticed her because of what she was holding. I stopped. What was it? A red envelope. She held onto it the whole time, but when I saw her again on the bridge, it was gone. Maybe she'd put it in her bag. Before I could ask anything else, I heard Kella behind me. Blake, do you really think this matters? It was an accident. Why are you still asking questions? Let's go. I turned, irritated. What are you talking about, Kella? She grabbed my arm, almost trying to pull me away. We started walking along the bridge. Blake, this isn't our case. They'll handle it. James stayed with the rescue team. I shook my head. I can't leave an investigation in James's hands. Blake, this was an accident. There's no evidence. Nothing points to murder. You can't turn everything into a crime. She was still talking when she stopped, abruptly. She froze, then turned toward me, as if she wanted to add something. But her eyes dropped to the ground. Kella, listen to me. This wasn't an accident. Someone is behind this. Blake, you're pushing it. No. This time, you're the one who doesn't want to see. Wait. What is that? I wasn't listening to her anymore. I had noticed something along the side railing of the bridge. I crouched down. She followed. Duct tape. Strips of tape stuck to the edge. I ran my finger along it. The adhesive was still strong, fresh. And there, caught in the corner, a tiny fiber. Red. The shape left behind by the tape was unmistakable. A rectangle, the exact size of an envelope. Why would there be tape on the railing of Wedmeter Bridge? And that's when I understood. A smile crept up on me, uncontrolled, instinctive. Kella leaned in closer, lowering her voice. Let's go, Blake. Later that evening, someone returns to the bridge. They move fast, hood up, face swallowed by shadow. They look like they're searching for something. I watch from a distance. They're nervous, restless. They check the railing, then pace back and forth. Finally, they stop, exactly where the woman fell. They lean forward, over the railing. Too far. One wrong move, and they'll go down too. I shout, "Stop!" Their head snaps toward me. They freeze. "You don't want to end up like that poor woman who fell from this bridge." The wind off the Thames cuts between us, icy, and for a single second, it feels like the bridge itself is holding its breath. The hooded man spun around, startled, and broke into a run. I went after him immediately, determined to stop him. But someone got there first. James. He was at the opposite end of the bridge. He had seen everything and tried to cross the road to cut him off, but the traffic had forced him to slow down. For a moment, I froze. I couldn't understand why he was there. "James, what are you doing here?" He didn't answer. He stood still, breath short, eyes locked on the hooded man. The man tried to break free. He struggled, but together we stopped him, lifting him by the arms, locking him in place. I stared into his eyes. By then, the truth was obvious. "You know, at first, I thought it was an accident." I took a step closer. But then I understood. Another step. It was all planned. His expression cracked. "You were the one who orchestrated all of this, weren't you?" The hooded man finally spoke. He said he didn't understand what was happening, who I was, why I'd stopped him. I didn't let it slide. "Don't pretend." My voice stayed steady. "It's obvious now. This morning, a woman fell from the bridge. Everyone called it an accident, a tragic twist of fate. But it wasn't. I knew it. It was too clean to be random."
She fell because you set it up.
The man started to squirm. His breathing turned sharp and fast. His head dipped lower and lower, anything to avoid my eyes. I kept going. I had to say it, all of it, step by step. "You made the victim believe there was a surprise. You left a red envelope on her desk. She found it. She read it. And inside was a specific place, a meeting point. She trusted him, blindly, because he was someone she respected, someone she would never, ever suspect. She was happy. She left work. She took the subway. And there's a reason you left the second envelope right there. Catherine had seen it. Just minutes earlier. She confirmed everything. Riana was holding a red envelope. Every detail matched. Every piece slid back into place. And as I spoke, the man started shaking more and more. James stayed silent for a moment. Then he asked quietly,
Wait, if she really had an envelope in her hand, where did it go?
She had put them inside her bag. I imagined Riana down there, the bag still across her shoulder, her swimming, struggling, trying to surface, but never letting go of that damned envelope. The envelopes fell with her, I said quietly. She never let them go. The coworker who saw her leave the office earlier hadn't noticed anything. He hadn't seen the envelope. Only Catherine had. Because the envelope was under the subway seat. She had just opened it. When she reached the bridge, she no longer had it in her hand.
She had put it back into her bag. And that explains everything. On the second envelope, it said she had to go to Wedmeter Bridge to find the next one. She believed it. She went there. And she really did find the second envelope. Behind me, a voice.
But didn't she receive a phone call? The colleague said he saw her leave work happy after a call.
I turned. It was Kella. Surprised. Confused. Yes, she did receive a call, I said. But it wasn't from the killer. I'm certain it was a friend. Or maybe her mother. I believe that during that call she said she was happy. That the man she loved was preparing a surprise for her. And I believe something else too. I'm convinced she thought that the man she loved, more than anything, was about to ask her to marry him. Because the killer is you, Janny. The victim's boyfriend. He pulled back his hood, still insisting.
That's not true. I told her I had a surprise, but not this. I don't understand why you're accusing me. I didn't do anything.
I nodded slowly. And you're right. Behind me, Kella stepped in immediately.
But it's strange, isn't it? A surprise that important. Asking a woman to marry you. And you show up wearing a tracksuit.
Janny fell silent, caught off guard, as if no one had ever dared to say it out loud before. I spoke again. It's true, and I would have gotten there anyway. I took a step closer to him. You planned everything, every single detail. But there was one thing you didn't expect. Was there? I pointed to the exact spot at his feet. You pushed your girlfriend using the envelopes, and her love for you. You lured her here, to this precise point on the bridge. Because right here, I lowered my gaze. There was another envelope, on the ground, fixed in place with tape. I lifted my foot. Underneath it, the tape was still there, the strip he'd forgotten, the evidence he tried to erase, but not completely. You forgot this, Janny, I said. You were careful to remove one piece of evidence, but you left the most obvious one behind. He snapped.
What are you talking about? That's not true. Anyone could have put tape on this bridge. And besides, where are these envelopes? What envelopes are you even talking about?
His voice was shaking. His hands trembled, swinging uselessly at his sides. His eyes searched for an escape that wasn't there. It's useless, I said. You're not going anywhere.
That's not enough proof,
he shouted. You're right, I replied. But the real proof is what you came back to retrieve tonight. He went pale. You left a letter right here, I continued. You lured her to a precise spot. You wrote that she would find the other envelope only by looking over the other side of the parapet. I took a step toward him. When I touched the railing, my hands were greasy. At first, I didn't understand, but then I realized it wasn't water. It wasn't rain. I held up my hand, showing him my fingertips still glistening under the streetlight. Mineral oil. Transparent. Odorless. You spread it along this section of the railing. Just enough to make her slip. Not enough for anyone to notice afterward. It would evaporate, wash away with the rain. She leaned forward to grab the envelope, and you were counting on her losing her grip. James stepped forward, touching the railing himself. His fingers came back slick.
It's still here, he said quietly. You didn't have time to clean it all off.
It's true, he murmured.
And you were also the first one to say the victim's name. How could you have known it?
Gianni shook his head, confused, sweating.
It's not true. It's because we were supposed to meet here. She wasn't there, and...
James cut him off. You didn't know what had happened.
You found out later. Or at least, that's what you said. Gianni shouted.
No! I heard it! I heard someone talking!
You know, earlier I told you that leaning out that far was dangerous. That you could have fallen too. And it would have been ironic, almost poetic, ending up trapped in the very snare you prepared. Because there's one detail you forgot. Something still left on the railing. A fragment of the envelope. The piece Riana was reaching for when she slipped. Behind me, Kella stepped in.
Yes, but don't you think someone would have seen her?
She never let go of the envelope. It didn't float back up because Riana was still clutching it, even after she fell. But she refused to release it, and never imagined, not even for a second, that the man she loved could have planned something so cruel. I saw Kella's expression change. Her face hardened, disappointed, wounded. That story had hit her deeper than she wanted to admit. The man in front of us snapped.
That's not true. She never loved me. What are you talking about? I just wanted it to look like an accident. She was cheating on me.
Kella stepped forward. Her hand rested on my shoulder for a brief second. Then she reached him and slapped him. Sharp. Unexpected. The man froze. James stood there with the same stunned look. He had no idea what had come over her. Kella slowly turned back to him, her eyes locked onto the killer. Her voice low, almost a whisper soaked in rage.
I can't even look at you. And no, she wasn't cheating on you.
His eyes widened, disbelieving.
What? How would you know? What are you talking about?
The person she was talking to on the phone, right before coming to meet you, was exactly the one you believed to be her lover. Before coming here, I looked into it. I spoke to that person. They told me Riana had been suffering for weeks. She couldn't make you understand the truth anymore. She wasn't cheating on you. You were the one who refused to see it. Too proud, too convinced you were right. That phone call wasn't a lover. It was a friend. The only person Riana confided in. She truly believed that today you were going to propose to her. She was certain of it. I had it confirmed. The day you argued, Riana hid the messages from you because in that chat there was exactly this, that you were planning a surprise, that you were going to ask her to marry you. There was no betrayal, no secret, just a woman in love and a man who chose to believe his own jealousy. It's absurd. For something so small, you decided to commit something so cruel. It's shameful.
The man collapsed. He dropped to his knees, his eyes filled with tears.
No, that's not true,
He stammered.
It was her lover. I never hid anything. We told each other everything. I couldn't accept it. I couldn't accept that she had betrayed me.
His voice cracked. The rest hung in the air. Kella let out a long breath. She closed her eyes, tilted her head, furious. Then she spoke, her tone cold and sharp.
She never cheated on you. You're just a fool. She truly loved you. Until the very end, she believed it was a surprise.
The man, sobbing, stammered.
That's not true. It's not true. Stop.
Kella didn't stop.
I hope this regret stays with you for the rest of your life. James, take him away.
Kella leaned over the railing. I watched her in silence for a few seconds. She gripped the metal edge tightly, so tightly her knuckles turned white. Her jaw was clenched. She was fighting something back. I'd seen her angry before. I'd seen her frustrated. But this was different. This was grief. I took a step closer. You shouldn't stand so close after what just happened. You could lean by mistake where... She shook her head sharply, cutting me off. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The Thames moved below us, indifferent. Then, without looking at me, she said quietly,
Do you know what the worst part is, Blake?
I stepped even closer.
She never stopped believing in him. Even when she was drowning, even when her lungs were filling with water, she held on to that envelope because she thought...
Her voice cracked.
She thought he loved her.
I didn't know what to say. There was nothing to say. She finally turned to face me. Her eyes were red, but she wasn't crying. She wouldn't let herself.
Blake, would you ever do something this insane for love? For jealousy?
I looked her in the eyes. She was shaken, deeply. I stepped beside her. Kella, even if I loved someone with every part of me, even if that person didn't love me back or betrayed me, it would hurt, yes. But I could never do something like this. What that man did wasn't love. It was possession. When you truly love someone, you let them be free. You don't hold them tight by force, and you don't destroy them out of fear of losing them. I'd rather suffer myself than ever make her suffer. She smiled faintly, didn't say a word. She looked at me, then turned away. She took a few steps, then stopped beside me. She didn't meet my eyes. She was staring at the horizon. She smiled again. She tapped my shoulder twice, a quiet farewell. Then she walked away. I stayed on the bridge a little longer. The truth was simple. Without Kella, I would never have solved the case. Actually, I'm convinced she had understood everything long before I did. I'm certain she was expecting me, too. That's why she positioned James on the other side. She knew I would stay here. She knew the culprit would have no escape. And, in fact, if it hadn't been for her, I would never have noticed the tape on the ground. She had insisted so strongly that we leave, and only now did I understand why. I let out a breath, almost smiling. Damn it, Kella. I don't know how you do it, but you're always one step ahead of me. One day I'll catch up. You'll see.